Well, the Florida Gators finally got a victory yesterday on the road at Mississippi State. Welcome to Orange and Blue football coverage. The Florida Gators beat Mississippi State 45-28 in a game that a lot of backup players got a lot of reps in. Now, of course, Florida stuck to their plan of playing both DJ Lagway and Graham Mertz into the game. They both had pretty good days. Graham Mertz obviously got the majority of the reps, and he did absolutely phenomenal. He had more touchdowns throwing than he did incompletions. 19 of 21 for 201 yards, 3 touchdowns. He looked pretty good. DJ Lagway 7 for 7, 76 yards through the air. Also carried the ball a little bit, 3 carries for 22 yards. But sadly, he had a fumble loss at the end of the game. But we'll talk about that later. Montrell Johnson got 15 carries for 68 yards. Jaden Ball 4 carries for 53 yards, and Trayon Webb, the freshman. I'm sorry. Jaden Ball is the freshman. Trayon Webb is the true sophomore. 8 carries for 41 yards. And look, while I appreciate Montrell Johnson coming back for the Florida, it's pretty obvious he's not the better running back between Ball and Trayon Webb. Like, as much as we do root for Montrell Johnson as Gator fans, he's not better than those two running backs, and it's kind of quite clear. Something about Trayon Webb and Jaden Ball when they get the ball, they just seem to average 4 or 5 yards a carry. And Jaden Ball had a real big run in the game against Mississippi State. And Napier gets kind of part of the reason why Trevor Etienne, among other reasons, probably left of Georgia, because it's clear and obvious he was the better running back between the two, yet he was constantly having to yet Montrell was getting the lion's share of the reps. So Napier's going to have to realize that Montrell Johnson is a complementary back. He's not a leading back, but not going to dwell too much on that. The receivers, a lot of receivers had a lot of yards, had a lot of touches, and a lot of the gold was shared. Let's put it like that way. Chimere DK 3 catches for 43 yards. Elijah Badger 3 catches for 45 yards. Marcus Burke had a touchdown in this game. Ran a beautiful stutter and go to put Florida up 14-7, I believe. Yeah, put Florida up 14-7. Tight end Hayden Hansen had a catch for 35 yards that went for a touchdown. Put Florida up 21-7. Aldis Boardingham scored a touchdown, his first touchdown in quite some time. So the ball was shared around pretty good for the Gator receivers that day. Defensively, Florida was just absolutely terrible. I have to call it straight down the line. Gave up 240 yards on the ground to Mississippi State. They also gave up 2 or 3 on fourth down, 11 and 20 on third down, and gave up 90 total plays. That defense is Florida just cannot play good defense to save their lives. Like, there's no other way to say it. It seems like Billy Napier just doesn't know what a good defensive coach looked like if he was staring at him in the face. Good day for Sharif Denton though. 7 tackles, a strip sack. Had some good pass breakups as well. Aaron Childs, freshman linebacker, got his first Gator sack today. Kelby Collins and George Gums combined on a QB sack. Florida's run defense is absolutely terrible. It's like they're never going to get that fixed. As good as this was against finally get not only an FBS win but a power FBS win, but a power conference win and a conference opponent on the road, something Florida had not done in all time. So they finally got a check mark on all four of those categories. It was against Mississippi State. They gave up 45-28, and the game was actually competitive up until midway in the fourth quarter when Florida finally pulled enough of a big lead to where they wouldn't have to worry about getting a victory. But the game was actually, for the most part, competitive. And that's not. Florida should not have been this competitive with Mississippi State, especially Mississippi State, who just got blown up by Toledo a week prior. And Florida has more talent than both Toledo and Mississippi State. They're just not putting it together, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But I'm not gonna dwell too much on it because they did get a victory here. I think it probably saved Napier maybe a couple of weeks because they don't want to fire their coach after just winning a game and then have that weigh on the players for the next 2 weeks. So I think this probably bought him probably a few more weeks before they eventually move on, because they've already made it. It seems like the university has already made it clear that they're going to move on from Napier. But all in all, it was a good victory for Florida. Good for them to finally get some walk into a Sunday evening with some confidence. They're going to have a bye week next week, so they're not going to play, and then they'll play again 2 weeks later against 2 weeks from now against UCF. That will be in the Swamp late at night. I don't see Florida winning that game at all, especially with the way they performed against defensively against Mississippi State. Maybe they could put up some points, but I don't see them beating UCF. Because if Mississippi State can move the ball on them like this, then UCF is gonna have a field day on the defensive side of the ball. So we'll be rooting for Florida regardless. But good days for on the offensive side of the ball for Graham Mertz. Good day for the running backs, Jaden Ball and Treyon Webb. Good day for Marcus Burke. Good day for Aiden Mizell. Oh, Aiden Mizell looked absolutely fantastic. There was a 60-something yard touchdown that he had, which was called back for a blindside block. But when you look at the play, Montrell Johnson apparently blindside blocked the guy, but they were looking right at each other when they collided. It wasn't like Montrell just waited until the dude had his back turned and then just boom, just took him out. Like, no, they looked right at each other and they lowered their shoulders at each other at the exact same time. So I don't know how more that was a blindside block. I think they kind of screwed Aiden Mizell on that one. He looks really, 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 really good. And of that receiver class from the 2023 recruit cycle of him and Mizell and Mizell, Andy Jean, and Trey Wilson, he seems to be that number 2 receiver coming out of that bunch. We all know how we feel about Trey Wilson, but it seems like Aiden Mizell, not having Eugene Wilson out there, is giving Aiden Mizell some reps, and he's showing what he could possibly do. This man is a burner with the ball in his hands. He kind of reminds me of Freddie Swain a few years back, except I think he might be a step or two faster. Freddie Swain was a yards after catch kind of guy in the Dan Mullen era. So he had a good day as well. It's just the referees screwed him on a touchdown. I wish Aiden Mizell, and he even tweeted, I was like, how is this a blindside block? Like, man, y'all just robbed me of a touchdown, which, yeah, I think he had every right to do so. So good day and all for the offensive side of the ball for Florida. Defensively, there's a lot more that needs to be shown. But all in all, it was a Gators win. We finally get to have an SEC win. We finally get to have a FBS win. Finally get to have a Power 5, Power 4 conference win, and we finally get to have a win on the road as well. So that Napier is hit so far has hit his average. He normally averages a road win per year. Well, guess what? Now he has that. So good for the Gators. I'll see you on the